How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the Adam and Eve show. We got a little fun one for y'all this Monday. It was supposed to be over the weekend show. I'm going to add my co-hosts in. Co-host for the night is Miss Suelle, and the rest of my co-hosts will be joining you later this week. We're going to be dropping some regular recorded shows. If you have topics or things you want to talk about, definitely send us a message. Drop a link in the actual chat. We would definitely love to go over it. Tonight's topic is going to be, what do men and women bring to the relationship as far as value? So for ladies, what do you value as your man that he should be bringing to the relationship? And men, do you value as your woman should bring to the relationship? Everybody has a value, and that's exactly what is the problem today. I feel like a lot of us do not know what our value is and what we bring into the relationship. There's a general value, and then there's a specific value, something that your partner, your spouse likes directly about you. Let me get my co-hosts in here, y'all. 1 second, let me get my co-hosts in here. Okay, here she come.
Can you hear me?
Miss Well, yep, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. All good. Make sure I get this in there. Make sure you can hear me. Let me get this up here. That's in a better spot. There we go. There we go. Make sure everybody can hear me. You got any static on my end? We all good?
No, it seemed like it's doing way better this week.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. I know how I know how it be getting with them. That connection it'd be annoying, but we got it going. All right. So the topic this week, I'm gonna let you kick it off. I'm gonna see if we got any people in the lobby that want to join. The topic this week is basically, what do you bring to the relationship as far as your value? In a general basis, what do you feel you bring to the table? What do you feel your spouse brings to the table if you want to go personal? Or what do you feel the man brings to the table as far as value? And what do you feel a woman brings to the table as far as value? We all know the topics around this. We all look. Kevin Samuels have made it quite clear. So we're not going to destroy nobody all quick. We ain't going to go in, but you let me know the take on it. I'm going to let you know mine. We're going to get our standpoint, and then I'm going to go just over a few other ones as well. Also, I got some posts I'm going to drop in the chat as well, because I know some people done had some crazy posts that's been going over lately as well. Go ahead, Miss Suelle. Let me know. What do you value? What do you think a man's value is when it comes to the relationship? What do you think a woman's is? If you want to share some personal experience as far as you and your gentleman, then you go ahead and do that. You and your husband, go ahead and.
I think as far as value, I think what I bring to the relationship is a sense of peace. You have a best friend for life, so I support my partner in anything that he wants to do or aspire to do. I'm there to comfort him and be there for him through everything
Mm-hmm.
and anything. And I think what he brings to our relationship is a sense of peace, balanced. I feel like he's a protector, so I always feel protected. I think that's important for me personally, that I look for in a partner anyway, is someone that, can protect me. And I don't mean like fighting or violence or anything like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I just feel
Okay.
like that's important.
For me, now, of course, I'm speaking on a man's perspective for a woman. What I feel like my wife's value is a lot of the points that you kind of already touched on. So she's my peace, and she's the person that gives me that, you know, I can feel sure of myself. If I'm ever feeling inadequate, if I ever got that doubt or anything like that, you know, my wife gives me that confidence to know, okay, well, look, if she believes in me, then it don't matter what the person say. I know I can make it. So that for me, that for man, I don't know. There's a lot of men out here that say it's a bunch of other stuff like that. They want to they value the order that they want to bring. Which one to bring order? She keep the house. less chaotic. You know what I'm saying? But I love that surety that she brings. She gives me that confidence and know, okay, she believed in me that I could do it. I like that to the utmost. Another way I do it because she's lazy. She go, look, my husband can take on the world and not go ahead. I know you can do it. And she gave me that confidence to put that work in. You know what I'm saying? That extra bonus I got, it was because of her. You know, so that plays a real big role. And you know, and how I get it done. You know, before her, I don't know how much I will probably be accomplishing stuff on a regular scale. You know, I'll be doing it here and there. You know, that's that old saying, what you go in a man's house and there's a couch and a TV. I mean, look, I got the mansion because of her. So, you know, so you gotta let me know. Now what do you think in general a man and a woman's value is coming into a relationship? This is in general. This is speaking for everybody.
I think that in this new society, this new generation, I think that's why the marriage rate is so down and people don't value relationships is because they have a false intel what they think a relationship should bring, what a man should bring or what a woman should bring. I think they think that the man is just there to just bring money. And the man is not your bank. He's not your ATM. Like he's just not there in a relationship just to bring you money. And I think for the woman, I think a lot of these girls think, and I'm gonna say girls because a real woman wouldn't think like this. A lot of these girls think like, oh, well, I could cook, I could make Alfredo, and I could clean. It's like, first of all, that's basic. You shouldn't. That's basic skills. You don't get kudos because you know how to cook or clean. Like, other than that, what can you bring? Like, what do you have any skills? Like anything? Like, oh, I can cook and clean. That's not it. That's not it.
It's a sense of how men and women go about it, and that's the thing. You have your value, but a lot of people don't ask it right. When you get into a relationship, a lot of times people will want the value to be kind of like a necessity. Like, okay, like if you're a man, you have to be a protector. Like, listen, granted, your man will protect you. But it's a different way of just like you walking into a situation and you go, oh, okay, it's good. You know, I got my husband, so I can go do this. So that way, because, you know, he's supposed to protect me with stipulations, because people will take advantage of the fact that they know this is someone's job. Don't go and starting stuff and then be like, oh, my husband gonna protect me. Now your husband doing 5 to 10 because you wanted to go trip out. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to trip out at Walmart, you know, on this lady, and you like, well, look, my husband about to yada yada yada. He'll be here in about 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, use it to like is protect you. Don't make it your own personal bodyguard. Just like you said, you know, if a man is supposed, I feel like I'm supposed to financially provide for my family, but don't look at me now like no ATM. You know, it's a difference. You know, so I feel like people take advantage when they look at someone's value as like, oh, this is your job. Don't look at it as a job. Look at it as their passion. When you're passionate about something, you don't look for the return. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying I could do something for free and I don't have to get paid for it because I love it. So that's your family. But don't make it to that degree. Don't put it all out there. Next thing you know, we got a whole situation in our hands. So that's where I feel like the issue comes in. Like, come on, we gotta do a little better. We gotta do a little better. Like,
or no, like don't take advantage of your partner. Like, you know, I'm grateful. I'm in a marriage where my husband is the breadwinner and I stay home and I take care of the house and kids. But just because I know, like, oh, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'm okay. I know that the lights is going to be on. I know that the gas is going to be on. But at the same time, I'm not going to go run up the Amex bill to $1,500 and then be like, oh, well, he got it. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
You got to do better. Like, that's exactly what it is. He's not
going to walk in the house and just throw his shit in the middle of the floor, like clean up, me. You know what I mean? That's not
exactly. I feel like people take it to the extreme, and I feel like we all know where the value is. We know where it's at. A lot of times we don't want to say it, but we know where it's at. But that goes back to the fact of our first show we had, like, can a man really be with a woman, you know, making halfway what she's making? And can a woman be with a man making twice? I feel like people we pushing that envelope too hard. Like, and then if you're not, now listen, it gets sticky when you're not up to par with what you're supposed to value. When you're not up to par and you're not where you should be, it gets a little dicey. If a woman is, let's keep it a bean, if she can't make mac and cheese or sweet potatoes or cornbread and all that as good as the husband would like, we got an issue. And then if the man,
but I think that also goes back to
having
a conversation when you're dating, because I feel like we getting back to the D word of dating. When you're dating, maybe you need to discuss this stuff. What values do you hold for yourself in the future? What values do you see that you want that you have? So if your value, if I'm dating a guy and he values family, then okay, we got that in common. If I want to have a family and I have, siblings and I'm very close to. So I knew that anybody I was going to be with, they need to value family, or they need to value, me and how I look at my family. But if you with someone and they value money over family, then that's not the person for you. So I think that it goes back to dating and getting to know someone before you get into a relationship with someone and y'all don't have the same values or the same outlook.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Because the biggest thing is exactly what you said. If you don't have that same value, then like people, and it all comes back to people do not talk when they're getting into these relationships. And let me see what Kimi Campbell said. My job is to push anybody top back that disrespect my wife like her own gang. That's a fact. Like I said, and people own their value too. People know what they want to bring to the table, and they know what they should bring to the table. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely a provider first and a protector. That's just me. And that's not even because I feel like what a man should do. Because listen, I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten away from the gender roles, but I'm pro roles in general. There should be a protector, there should be a provider, there should be a nurturer, and there should be someone to keep the balance in the family. Those things should happen, whether a man wants to be one of this one or that one, a woman wants to be this one or that one, whichever you choose, your life, go about it as you see fit. But at the same time, we getting away from the main issue because, number one, just like in school, when you pick hey, listen, I want to be the line leader. Somebody want to be, the class president. Everyone needs to pick their role. When you pick your role, the value comes so much more natural. So much more natural. My wife picked her role and she said, this is what I want to do. And I told her, I said, look, this is what I want to do. I'm good. I ain't really for it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't look at it as either one of them is wrong, because I feel like they both got perks, but we've been over this for a minute now. And if we got any feminists watching or coming out, let me know. Look, I follow some feminist page and this and the third, you got to let me know. But I feel like when you start taking away of the roles in general, because we have feminists that say, oh, you don't have to hold the door open for a woman. Why? Because she's a woman. And it's like, well, that's kind of being polite and showing that you're chivalrous.
And you know what's crazy? I didn't hold the door open for a man before just because I was probably in front of him and, he was behind me. You know what I mean? It's about being courteous.
Exactly. And I feel like we getting away from that. And once again, when you put so much emphasis on the value as, oh, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to hold my door. You're supposed to pull out my chair, this and the third. And then you got people that's on the other side that's saying, Gigi, I'm doing something right now, okay? So I told you can go do what you need to do, okay? Go. If you want to go, you can go in your room and cut a TV on. There's more than enough TVs in this house. These kids, they definitely get you. We got to have a show about these kids.
Oh, yes.
Definitely got to have a show about these kids because they definitely get you. But once you get that value out the way, now the rough topic. The rough one, it's men's value in their wallets and women's value as far as their image. That one, to this day, It is still kicking our behind. That one ain't stopped yet.
And you know what's
They
crazy? I didn't know it was that bad. To tell you the truth, I knew that it was a little bad, but honestly, I've been in a relationship since I was in high school, and I'm 30 years old now, so I'm a little out of touch sometimes. But after watching certain platforms and looking at the foolishness, it is very
mm-hmm.
confusing to me because a lot of this is kind of like common sense. Like I just know that I never, me personally, never looked at a guy for his wallet because at the end of the day, he could look at me and be like, "You're no, Naomi Campbell," and I know I'm not. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, like
And
you
that's a
said,
fact.
you took up being a provider. I knew that I always been a nurturer and a teacher. So I knew that that's where I hold my value in nurturing and being. And one, I always knew I wanted to be a mother. And I used to be at work all the time, working crazy hours back when I didn't have any children. But once children came into play, me and my husband had a conversation, and then that's when it comes into roles. Like, okay, so when we had the kids, somebody got to sit it down for a while somebody else hold it down, and that's where you come up with a compromise. Who's going to do it? And if you're okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
then that's for y'all to be okay with it, not for the world to comment on.
And most people, I 100% agree with you, because most people, they will from the start, you know, lose that connection, just because they're not the sole person that is that. Like, even though I would say I'm the provider, and I know for a fact that I'm a protector. I definitely can still nurture my children as well, and I can be there for them, and they come to me and stuff like that. But I think that's where we just put that role on people so much nowadays. Like, I didn't think it was that bad either. I'm right there with you. I did not think it was that bad until I seen people looking at it the way they did. Like, I seen women looking at it the way they look at it. I seen men looking at it, and it looks so crazy out here. People, they almost don't know that. Listen, this is how the world sees it. So the person you might be with, they might not necessarily be straight in your face. Oh, I know this is how the world looks at it. So this is what's the problem. No, 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 no. That's not the issue. They're going to look at the situation, but at the same time, they're going to say, "Look, I'm different as well." I didn't look at my wife like, "Oh, you should be a stay-at-home mother." I didn't look at her. I asked my wife when I had a good paying job, before we left Philly. I said, "Hey, look, you want to be a stay-at-home mom? You take care of our oldest child now. You can stay at home." She said no. She said, "Nah, I'm not really feeling that. I'd rather go back to work. I feel like I'll be boring. I have no problem being with my child, at least for the first year, but I want to go back to work." I say, "Cool, that's cool. I can respect that. I wouldn't just want her to be like, 'Hey, well, look, you should be a provider. You should be a working dad or have this career.' Because at the same time, well, my wife tended to not want to work that much. But if she did, she would definitely offer, 'Hey, babe, would you want to quit your job, stay home?' Especially if I express that to her, say, 'Look, I ain't really trying to work.' Absolutely. I really don't want to work, but you know how that is." So let's see. Let me send the link out for a few people so we can get some people on the line. My co-host and dipped off. Let me go ahead and send this out there. We get some people in the chat. Guys, if y'all want to tune in, just click on the link. If it's having any type of connection issues, just click on the link, put it in your address bar. It'll bring you right into the lobby. And that way I can add you in if you want. And you can create, kind of give us your standpoint.
But
The topic of tonight is value.
But you know what's crazy? Kind of like what you said. Like when I had my first kid, I had her, and I was so worried about going back to work because I'd never been out of work. So when she was like 4 months, I went back to work. Once I got pregnant again and had the second child, we had a conversation before she was even born. Like, I don't even know, especially because she was born in a pandemic, so that's a whole nother set of worms. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how life is going to look now because I have this toddler that I just had. Now I'm about to have another kid, and I have a bonus child already that's a preteen. So I said, when this
Mm-hmm.
third kid get in there, I may not be ready to go straight back to work. I don't know how life is going to be because I've never been in this position. So we knew that, we had to see how it was going to be and take our time. Like, he never rushed me and be like, "Oh, well, you need to go to work and you need to do this." And he never said, "Hey, you need to stay home," either. So it's kind of like
Exactly.
we going day by
He
day trying to figure things out.
he knew exactly where you wanted. He knew what what you were going to gravitate towards, but to give you the option as well. People love options. And a lot of times, like I said, when we get stuck in these roles, stuff like that, we don't know how to give the right options. And actually, we got a whole issue on our hands. So people got to learn to give better options because, like I said, when the value is there, we all for it. Like, okay, well, she is a good mother, she is a good cook, or he is a good provider, he got a good career. Okay, so he should do that. Perfect. What if he didn't really want to do that? And being with your spouse, you want to feel like your spouse accepts you for who you are. What if you never really liked this and you just really chose it because you know how it is, and you know how the situation go. So look, I don't really want to do this. I just did it because that's the opportunity I've been given at the time. But it's not really my cup of tea. So you want to kind of branch out. Because me personally, I want to retire at 35. So, that would take the provider in me significantly less down for my family in a certain aspect, but also learn to be frugal and also save and put my finances in a good situation so we can kind of move forward. So if I ever do say, well, you know what, I don't really want to work for anybody anymore, I'm gonna do my own thing, start my own company, it's not gonna be as lucrative maybe as my regular profession. My family can still, not take a hit or any losses regarding it.
Now, do you think that this generation doesn't really understand what true value is? Because I was watching Kevin Samuels I'll say 2 nights ago on Instagram, and it was the wildest crap that I have ever seen in my life. So I'm a sum it down to be short. The girl, the guest that came on alive, I'm gonna say she's around 26 years old. She lives at home with her mom, middle class family. The dad has a good job, provide for the mom. The mom has a degree, but she doesn't even have to work. Okay. They no need for nothing. He takes care of the daughter. Like I said, the daughter 26 years old, don't have a job, don't need anything. And she basically looked down on her parents for being middle class by saying that's boring. She wants millions. I'm just saying, and I just thought that that was wild. That your parents that worked hard, your dad's still working hard, to the fact that your grown ass don't even have to work. But since their life is not this Instagram life, that it holds no value, so they middle class, upper middle class. Because I'm not even going to say middle class. Upper middle class lifestyle is not good enough for you because it's not glitz and glamour. And just because it's not glitz and glamour doesn't mean they could have true happiness in a upper middle class lifestyle. But just because it's not, well, she wanted 5 million a year. She wanted to make 5 million a year. So she holds value in money.
More
She
power to
holds
you.
value into
Hmm.
wanting 5 million a year and thinking that is going to contribute happiness. Not the fact that her dad didn't go to college, her mom did. So the fact that her mom went to college, sat down, took care of the family, the dad worked, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't. It's the 5 million that's going to make it better.
Which is wow, and it's so crazy. You absolutely right. The way our generation looks at value, number one, the way our generation looks at money is so rough now. People look at money so rough that they look at it like if you don't have money, you ain't doing it. Like people are ashamed to be broke. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You are literally not going to always have money, or it's not going to be until a point where everyone's not rich. I don't get why they don't understand there are 330 million people in America, and literally only maybe good 40, 50,000 are rich and wealthy. Other people are well off. As in, I have a brother that's well off. He has more than enough money in the bank to take care of really big situations in life, like really big situations. Someone has cancer, something happens, tornado, something happens with the government shutdown, and things like real things that would really cripple a regular person to the point where it wouldn't be good. And it's to that degree where basically he's not rich, he's well off, but he's only well off because he's on top of his finances. So yeah, there's times where he's, oh well, hey, bro, I can't go out. I'm on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Having a budget is like, it's so funny because having a budget is so one-sided is scary. It's either stupid or smart. How is that possible where most of the country is not rich or poor?
And that's
And
crazy
people keep
because
thinking that is so much poor.
it's crazy because they think they're so rich that I'm gonna say, for example, I'm gonna say an example that everybody can relate to. When the Semblance package first came out,
mhm,
it was people, even the first and second Semblance, it was people that's like, oh well, I don't need a Semblance, knowing damn well you do. Or saying like, oh
mhm,
well, I don't make enough, I make too much to receive a Semblance, but they really was receiving one. So like, and it's like you're trying to front and fly for people on the internet that don't give a damn because they gonna go take that Semblance and not care
mhm,
two things about it. But your poor ass is trying to act like you're so rich that you don't want this Semblance. Or when they gave out the child credit, you had people like, oh well, I'm about to opt out. I'm opting out. You're broke as F, and you want to go on
mhm.
Instagram and Facebook and say, oh, I'm opting out so you can look cool. How turning down money is cool? Like that's just
That
weird to me.
fame has got people that are real
So
bad.
is
And that's another
fame
thing.
and
People
Instagram
put
clout,
fame
is that a
in
value
so
for
much of
people
a big.
now?
Oh yes, I think that's one of the biggest values. I think people bring in fame, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of them, all of the social networks, giving that type of value. They look at that as okay. If you are really known, that's power in that. And the sad truth is they're correct of how much power is in it, but it's bad. They put so much value on it. People are doing unthinkable things. They are
Mm-hmm.
doing unthinkable things. People would say, hey, would you ever, and I'm not even gonna lie, this is actual true because of what we're speaking of. If you had $1 million, you had 1 million followers, the 1 million followers is worth more nowadays because of a person's mindset. I will
Mm-hmm.
take $1 million over 1 million followers any day of the week. You are tripping because of my mindset. People want that, you know, I give you an example. The idiot that used to run this country, he got a loan from his father, his parents, for $1 million. Trump, and regardless of whatever you think Trump is, whatever he did, he still made billions. Now, mind you, it may have been unethical. He may even did some of the stuff wrong because he did some things that were just idiotic. But he took it from $1 million. Now, I don't particularly count people as doing stuff like that as self-made because we'll say the Kylie Jenners of this world is self-made. Me personally, I think self-made is getting it from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. If you were born in Beverly Hills, and if you were born in upstate New York, if you were born in certain parts of Miami, if you were born in certain parts of the wealth of this country, and where you are excluded, and your family has gotten you to a certain point where you can start at, we over here guys start at square one, and you over here starting with 10 acres. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. I cannot say you are self-made. I can say you are very ambitious. I can say you are very smart business wise, but we use the term self made too much. No, sorry. Self made means you yourself got yourself where you are. No one got me where I am. My parents helped me as best as they could, give me information, give me knowledge, which I think that has a lot of value in it. But no, my parents didn't give me no $1 million. They didn't give me like that. I made this one on my own. So the people put the value in this social media so much to the point where a lot of times people always keep saying, oh, do you think social media is an issue with your relationship? Yes. I don't think so. I
You
don't
know
have
what's
that.
crazy is because certain people put so much, and I seen it firsthand. That's the reason why I can say it. They put so much value into social media that they will choose that over their own spouse, over their own
Oh
family.
boy.
Because my issue is,
Uh-huh.
for me, if social media was a issue for my husband, for me to have, and I either had to pick between my social media or my husband, that's a no brainer. Fuck the social media. But some people will
Mhm.
really go and be like, "Why you controlling? Is my social media?" And they will pick that social media over their kids, over not spending time with your kids. You're just throwing them a tablet and you on Instagram all day or TikTok all day. They put that stuff in front of everything else, and it's
And
sad.
that's a fact. And the fact that you even have to look at social media as having that much power is sad. And it can have power in a sense, but it shouldn't have that much power over you. It does have power, but it shouldn't have power over the individual. Come on,
Think
you
about
got to
when
be
it
better
shut
than
down the
that.
other day. Remember that time where it shut down a couple of weeks
mm
ago for a
mm
couple hours?
I
People was losing their
I
shit.
bet they was losing their minds. And the sad part about it is, I get social media even has a business aspect to it, so it makes sense. I get it. What Mark Zuckerberg? They say what he lost by like 9 billion. It makes sense. I get it, but it shouldn't have that much power over you, because we all know a job has a lot of power, but we all know you ain't letting that job have power over you. Because as soon as your boss wants you to send in an extra report or stay late, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I have a life. Oh, now you have a life. Now someone has a life. Now something's more important. You let social media say it, that hand will not leave from that phone.
It's like,
Not at all.
when did we start, like when did our families and even having husbands as ladies, when did y'all stop valuing our men? Like when did that become a thing? And I know growing up I used to watch a lot of Nick at Night. I always been an old soul. So when you watch them kind of shows, you see, I'm not saying you're supposed to be barefoot and pregnant, you know what I mean? But before the
Mhm.
feminists come and get me. But what I'm saying is that what happened to, your husband come home from work and you just happy that he went out there and sacrificed that day for you. Even if he was working at McDonald's, he went out there, he dealt with that boss, he dealt with the hot uniform and the customers. Like, when did that appreciation go away? When did that appreciation for family go away? Like, when did those type of
I
values
think
go
I
away?
I think I know. I think it went away when, and I'm not gonna lie. This, for Black people, I always feel like this is a bigger issue, but I also feel like this issue came from the discrimination, as far as back in the 60s and 70s, where everything started with that old law, you know, civil rights movement and everything like that. I think that's exactly where it happened. Once people, oh, Black people need something for themselves, I feel like that dismantle of the Black family is where it definitely came for Black people. The sad part about it is, I feel like, and no lie, feminists, I hope y'all don't come get me. I feel like y'all have spilled that into the modern woman. No lie,
Hmm.
because I felt like that was more so a situation that happened amongst certain cultures, because I definitely believe that was a culture where women weren't as valued as much, and that's 100%. That's why certain things I support 100% with the feminist movement, because there are certain things that women should have, the equal opportunity and choice to be able to, you know, pick what they want and choose what they want in this life. Now, at the same time, that value I feel like left once the woman had to do more of it themselves. Once women had to do a little bit more of it themselves. But the issue is, women had to do it back in World War II, and it was not an issue. It was still an issue because of the fact that they were still discriminating against women. But if they weren't ultimately discriminating against women, it wasn't an issue the way it is an issue now. It was not an issue in World War II, when a lot of men had to go off the war, and a lot of women, that old school, that good old school picture of the woman, with the bandana and the arm up, during war. Let me see if I can find that picture. Strong Woman War,
But
World
what's
War
crazy is
II.
that before, like the 60s and the 70s, Black people as a whole had more. So we owned businesses back where it was segregation. We couldn't use the white restroom or the white restaurant. Black people had their own
Mm-hmm.
restaurants and their own clubs and their own businesses. And once we tried to start, sorry to say it, trying to be fitting with the people that didn't want us to be with them in the first place, which is the white people, then that's when you want to be in their clubs and their stuff. Like, why can't we just still stay with our stuff? We started losing businesses, and now we don't have as much. It's not that many black businesses as it was. We owned a lot of stuff. We
The
had our
biggest
own
thing I
stuff.
think is the de-industrialized um, main sources of incomes that was dismantled.
Mhm.
We had factories, plumbers,
Mhm.
um, bus drivers, we had welders, we had cleaners, all types of those sources that we had for ourselves. That was the main source of income for Black people, where you can leave high school. You didn't need to go to college and get, $100,000 or more in debt to get a good paying job. You can get a good paying job, and if you wanted to go specific things, you had areas and ways to get to the top to get to it. Now we've taken all that stuff away, because I didn't grow up where I can get my license in high school. I didn't grow up where I can get a certification to be a plumber or an electrician or a welder or work in a factory, where I can get a paying job where I can support my family if I did have a family or wife and kids. Back in the day, our parents had that, so they had a means to do that. And the military was even a rougher situation, because the military, it's it was a little bit different for back in the day. A lot of men would go into the military. Some women would go into the military as nurses and things of that such, where we had those things available for certain people. Once they took that away and I came out of high schools and I went to more into colleges and private trades and stuff like that. And then on top of that, let's not talk about these unions with also these trades. They didn't also allow Black people in there. They made it really hard for Black people to get in there, so that made it really hard. And then let's get down to the root of the problem, the crack epidemic.
Oh yeah.
Down to the root of it. Now, since the fact that you stripped a lot of these things out of the Black neighborhoods, now we have a lot of men and women that can no longer support their families, and they have to take lower jobs than what a low-level crack dealer would make. It made no sense to go work in McDonald's. It made no sense to go work at a hotel in order to be a doorman or to be this. It made none when you can literally be a low-level crack dealer and make 3 to 4 times that amount. It's worth it almost to go to jail. Because if you think about it, we bought the jewelry, we bought all the stuff. If we would have been smart about it, we could have made it. Because you got to think 3 or 4 sons that are in the family is 4 sons, 3 daughters. If they all were crack dealers, they would make more than enough to support their entire family. And on top of that, invest for their entire family. More than enough. And the sad part about it is we look at it like it destroyed our neighborhoods. It didn't destroy it. If we would have used it a certain way, it wouldn't have destroyed us that much, because we weren't the only ones that were on crack. By no means. And once crack got a hold of you, it held you. It held you. So East Indians and Mexicans and or Puerto Ricans and Caucasians, all those people, you get them addicted too. You have a primary source. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure it did take a nice population of our actual communities, which did destroy it ultimately, and then put a lot of Black men in jail. And then also with weed, you got people that's doing life for weed. How?
But
How hasn't that changed?
But what's crazy? Like you said, we wasn't the only ethnicity that was, hurt by the crack epidemic. But even to now, we are the only. So we're the only. Let me see. We're the only race that doesn't hold values in our men and our children and our families. We have probably the highest percent of not giving a damn about each other, because the Puerto Rican people, they as a whole, they still all come together. They family minute. You got the Asians that's the same way, Indians, Italians, and then we get to the Blacks. and in the
We are
Black
the
race,
lowest ones that hold value to
we
our
be
men
the
and women.
brokest ones, and then we hold in value into shit that doesn't make sense, into sneakers, clothes, jewelry, not a family, not generational wealth, not land, not your husband, your wife, your kids. We hold a
Mhm.
lot of value in materialistic bullshit. And when you only have a certain few that will try to come together and do something. So you will have you and your wife, for instance, y'all trying to build something, y'all trying to build generational wealth, and then you will have other Black people hating that you're doing that. So I think more so is our race that's mostly like this. It's us.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
Italians,
worst,
they fight each other, but they at the end of the day they keep the money in the family. They work together. Look at the mob. Look at how Asians do it. How every other race do it until you get the ours.
and the craziest part about it is we hold value in things that actually can help us, but we won't do it the right way. We hold value in money, but the fact that you said create generational wealth, then that's the case. If we balling so much and we want to flex and stun on people so much, then why everybody don't got a life insurance policy? So the way at least you know when you die, your kids can keep stunning. We didn't even put in any logical thinking into it. If you truly want to ball and stun on somebody, then put a life insurance policy. Get one through your job. Most people, I don't know which one it is in my job. Get one through your job, and then get one through your own. That way, if you pass, you giving your kid 500,000. Come on, these white people are passing. Number one, these white kids are killing their parents and getting the money. They put so much value into it. They said, "Look, I ain't got time to wait around 30 more years for you to die. You over here taking care of yourself, going to the doctors. My money ain't coming no time soon." Yeah. Okay. Next thing you know, oh, hey, well, I'm so sorry to hear about your parents. I know, right? But yeah, we're going to Maui next week. We'll see you there. You know what I'm saying? So like, look, they put look. So it's getting to a point where we gotta push for that. I just want black people to be 100% for whatever we're gonna be. If we're gonna be greedy, if we're gonna be treacherous, then how about you at least do it to 100%? You know, at the same time, you got people that steal from the hood, but it makes no sense to steal from the hood because they ain't got they got just as much as you. That's why they in the hood. That's why they steal from the rich because
Think
the rich
about
got
the
the money.
riots. The riots came, and this is my only opinion I have on the riots. I didn't care that they was tearing shit up. Honestly, I did. What I cared about was y'all tearing up our shit. Like not, I look like in Philly, for instance, and they acted a plum fool here. And they said they was going to riot and they marching down to they about to march downtown. I said, cool. Then they stopped in the middle of North Philly and started tearing shit up. No. If you're going to do it, keep that energy. Take that up Rittenhouse Square. Take that shit up King of Prussia. Take that shit up Valley Forge. Y'all took it to Susquehanna and Dolphin, 52nd and Market. These are your stores that you need to go into, your pharmacies. So now that the shit is tore up, then you're on the news crying a week later, like, I can't even get any medicine. Well, you think they're gonna rush and fix this shit in the hood? No. Because if y'all would have tore up downtown, they would have been there that night fixing that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get it.
And that's where the biggest thing is. It looks like we had like what you call it, I don't know if they probably didn't come through. So the wrap this show up tonight because we definitely agree that listen, the value in these situations, it is rough out here, especially for black and brown people. So I'm gonna ask you just to final go give you your last little spiel, or you can kind of pick your brain. What do you think is one of the sole things for a man should value a woman for, and a woman should value a man for? Just anything that, if for you, if you feel as though this one thing, that it was a more of this, it would have helped us out. At least this is one of the top ones. So for a man, what do you think he should value in a woman, and a woman, what do you think they should value in a man, especially for our
I think
community?
that I think that in our community, I think that men should start valuing women that are honest and loyal, because that's what you're going to need to succeed. And with honesty and loyalty with a partner, you can accomplish anything if you have that into a partner. So that comes before everything, money, anything. If you have a partner that's brutally honest with you and is going to keep it 100, so they'll tell you when your shit is wrong and when your shit is right, and to be honest with you, then that's good. And I think for a female, if you have a man, you should look for a value in a man as someone that generally cares about you. that that you don't have to look for money and things of that sort. You need to find someone that really loves and care about you, because when he loves you and really cares about you, he's going to make sure he does anything in his power to take care of you and to protect you, and that goes without you even having to ask.
I like that. I definitely like the honesty and the loyalty, because we are. I feel like we are not a monogamous culture anymore. We moved away from monogamy. I get polygamy and stuff like that. I get the poly relationships, but I don't think that's the best thing for us as a society, because that's not where our mindset is. That's a great mindset when we don't have so many distractions. We don't have so many things in the background. So I think for men, so for women, I think what you should value for men more is, and I'll be honest, so this is something that a woman should look more into a man. I think she should value his um, respect. I think women should value respect in men more. Basically saying women should have more respect for men. That's the value they should look in, because if a man can respect himself, you should be able to too. That is like one of the biggest things I have with women. Just show that man some respect. Period, point blank. And for women, men should value their, and this is just for me, their femininity. I don't feel like we're valuing femininity as a culture anymore, and men should value that as a woman. And I'll be honest, a lot of feminists will look at that because they want that to go hand in hand. But I really feel like men in general should be there for a woman. Be there for a woman, whether it's to protect a woman, whether it's to listen to a woman, whether it's to help a woman. Because before that used to be a part of the culture. You see an older woman walking across the street, help her with her bags. That case in Philadelphia, the fact that woman that was sexually assaulted on a train and nobody helped, it's so sickening. It turns your stomach. You almost think people lying. That's how
Because in
bad
the
it is. You
60s
filmed it
and
and
the
didn't.
70s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that would have never had happened on a train. Every man on that train would have got up and helped.
And it's so bad that's just this stuff has gotta stop. You know what I'm saying? That is just scary. But we're gonna wrap this show up. Guys, sorry guys about my yawn. I've been a little bit tired, been at work all day. But we got a good show coming for y'all Thursday. It's going to be a recorded show. You will not be able to call in, but you can comment and also basically share it. You can message us if you want to add some comments. If you have any questions about any of our shows or topic that you want to put, you want us to go over, we could even do sessions with you as well and put a little clip up there and kind of go over a little interview status for you guys. But I got a good one for y'all coming up this Thursday. We will be talking about compromise. Nobody ever wants to compromise. Who right, who wrong, how we meet in the middle. Nobody don't ever want to meet in the middle. We got too many out here that don't never want to meet in the middle. So Thursday, and I'm going to have a full panel. I'm going to do a full panel. And I'm also going to send out the link to any people that want to jump in as well. This will be a private link. Let me know, inboxes, if you want to do a private link. You can inbox me or Mrs. Sewell or the Adam and Eve show. Inbox us. This one will be on compromise. So without that being further said, I bid you adieu, Miss Sewell. As usual, you kill it. You always being fabulous. And just overall, always got the best type of outspoken topic. And I love the fact you always speak your mind. You always give me the best type of thought process. It always keep me on point. We're going to have our other co-hosts as well. Tony G, she's coming back off vacation. I have to put her business out there. I don't know where she was at, y'all. I ain't put a business out there. She probably was on a beach somewhere, living it up, drinking pina coladas. So she'll be back this week. And we're also going to have Providence as well. And we're going to get it cracking. That's the Adam and Eve show, y'all. I'm Ant, a.k.a. Speedy. This is my co-host, Miss Sewell. Deuces. Y'all have a good one. Good night. God bless.